LinkedIn Live. Hope you're having a great day. It's been a great week, and hopefully it continues into next week. So, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about turning connections into conversations into collaborations. You have to have a stair step approach. You have to be a couple steps ahead of where you plan on going to and taking people to. And it has to be a method and a process that really leverages on giving and receiving greater value as you move up the ladder. So, the key is relevancy. That's where you start. If I was starting from the beginning, I would go after only people I would want to have a conversation with. If you're connecting with people who, if they were to reach out and say, can we have a call next week? And you say you're busy, don't start up. It doesn't pay. You're just taking them off of their track and you're including people on your track that you really aren't going to be able to bring value to. And that's the bottom line here on LinkedIn, bring value. The other key thing is being able to bring, respect and honor and recognition to them. And one way of doing that is either tagging them in your post, assuming they're okay with it, or what I did, which was just a huge hit, actually a grand slam, was I would start having my connection of the day. Recognize somebody you want to recognize you for recognizing them, and you'll pave the way for a really quality conversation down the road because initially you're sharing your intention. You're sharing them with your network, which is just huge because it's third party validation and it's somebody else talking about them versus them talking about themselves. And naturally, the more they are honored by what you do, the more obligation they feel to keep you in the fold and possibly start to do things with you because you're a promoter. Having content without audience is like clapping with one hand. Having audience without content is the same thing. So while you're building your network and you're building your content, the network really has to become part of the distribution network. So, hopefully that puts things in a little bit more perspective. What you're also accomplishing is you're qualifying along the way. You're starting to identify people and in turn get feedback from those people and in turn create your content relative to the feedback. It's really not what you think they want. It's what they share with you that they want. And then it's your job, just like a cook, to prepare the best combination of value that you can serve. So, when you look at it, making those connections are so important based on relevancy. Then getting to conversations. What you want to do is get to a conversation where you're at least a peer. What do I mean by that? Well, when you go up to a stranger and you say, hey, let's get together next week. And the first thing they say is, who are you? Why me? And what am I going to get out of it? Well, if you can answer those questions in advance before you offer the invitation, you've reduced the resistance and increased the attraction. How do you do that? Again, support them, promote them, read their stuff, watch their videos, and when you comment, be the best comment of the day for them and show that you actually read something or watched something by identifying that something and what it meant. If you look at your comments every day, if you're lucky, whatever you get, 10, 20, 30, how many are really significant? How many are really committed to sharing something of value that you shared with them? That's the key. You want to have every log pile bigger than everybody else's, not just by more, even though, quantity and consistency wins the day, but by better and by more relevant and more focused and niched. So it's better to spend more time with less people on LinkedIn to get more done than less time with more people to get very little done. And then you just create work. And work is time, and time is something no one has too much of. So then the next step, okay, now you're making conversations, creating them. Your calendar should actually explode if you do things the way I'm doing it, because my calendar is exploding. So, okay, so now you're getting conversations. What you got to remember, this is a two-step process. You use LinkedIn to get to know people, to get to talk to people, and get people off a line, off of LinkedIn, because that's the only way you're going to do business. You can't do business inside LinkedIn. There's no way to transfer money, sign contracts, anything. So you got to get off of LinkedIn, have a Zoom. But here's the key. Number two step kicks in. You got to have something of greater value than you're asking. You know, you're building trust, you're building confidence, you're building likability. It's built on value given and received and appreciated. Next step is the biggest step. It's let's do something. What do you got? Well, if you're not clear on what you got, if it's like, well, what it would tell me a little bit more and we'll figure some out, you just wasted that whole process and embarrassed yourself. So really, you've got to have something that keeps getting better. And ultimately, what wins the day is experience. When people feel it, see it, and live it, they want more of it if it's good. So now you become an investment instead of a risk. Now all of a sudden, it's like, where can we put more money, more time, more effort, more thought? That's where you want to be. Having more people who want you for more things that you can deliver and create more value for you, them, and whoever's receiving it. Win, win, win. So hopefully this helps quite a bit. It sure is, the foundation of what I do every day. Feel free to visit doncohenconsulting.com. And I'd love to work with you in the future. If you're the ones who go to work, enjoy what you do, and bring a positive impact to the people around you. Thank you very much.